Shalom, I'm Rabbi David, and today I'm going to share a secret that will challenge everything you've been taught about work, effort, and making money. We've been told a lie that has kept generations of people trapped in a cycle of struggle, burnout, and financial mediocrity. The lie is this: hard work is the key to wealth. I'm here to tell you that is not only wrong, it's the opposite of the truth. Hard work, as most people understand it, is a recipe for staying poor. The real secret, a secret that has been embedded in Jewish wisdom for thousands of years, is that true wealth is not created through hard work. It's created through a principle that makes money flow to you effortlessly. But first, let me ask you, what is your relationship with work? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you feel like you're working harder than ever but not getting ahead? Drop a comment below and tell me your experience. Now, before we dive into this teaching, I need your help with something important. We're on a mission to reach 50,000 subscribers, and every single subscriber matters. Why? Because the more people who discover these ancient money secrets, the more lives we can transform, the more families that break free from poverty thinking, the more generational wealth that gets built. So, if you're getting value from this content, if you believe this wisdom needs to spread, then hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on notifications so you never miss a teaching that could change your financial future. And here's something special. If you want to go deeper, if you're serious about transformation, become a channel member. You'll get exclusive content that I don't share publicly, early access to every video, and inner circle teachings reserved for those who are truly committed. The link is right below this video. All right, let's get into it. Look around you. Who are the people working the hardest in our society? The construction worker breaking his back in the sun for 12 hours a day. The single mother working 2 minimum wage jobs just to keep the lights on. The farmer toiling from dawn till dusk, 7 days a week. The nurse pulling double shifts at the hospital. Are these people the wealthiest? No. They are often the most financially strapped, the most exhausted, the most stressed. Now think about the wealthiest people. The investor who makes millions from a single phone call. The author who earns royalties while she sleeps. The entrepreneur whose systems generate revenue 24/7 whether he's awake or not. The software developer who built an app that now runs on autopilot. Are they lazy? No, but they are not engaged in hard work in the traditional sense. They are not trading their time and physical effort for money. They are leveraging a different principle entirely, a principle that is beautifully illustrated in the Torah, in the story of creation itself. In Genesis, what does God do for 6 days? He works. He creates the heavens and the earth. He separates light from darkness. He forms the land and the seas. He brings forth vegetation and living creatures. He creates man in his own image. This is the ultimate act of creation, of work, of effort. But then, on the 7th day, what does he do? He stops. He rests. He ceases from all his work. This is the Sabbath, or Shabbat in Hebrew. And the Torah says that God blessed the 7th day and made it holy. Now here's the question that most people never ask. Why did God rest? Was he tired? Does the creator of the universe get exhausted? Of course not. God doesn't need rest. He is infinite energy, infinite power, infinite strength. So why did he rest? He rested to teach us a principle. He rested to establish a cosmic law. The law is this: the blessing is not in the work. The blessing is in the rest. This is not just a nice story or a religious commandment. This is a cosmic blueprint for wealth creation. It contains the secret to making money effortless. Most people live their lives in a perpetual state of the 6 days. They work, they strive, they hustle, they grind. They believe that the more hours they put in, the more effort they expend, the more successful they will be. They live in a world of avodah, the Hebrew word for work, which is also the word for slavery. They are slaves to their effort. But they never enter into the energy of Shabbat. They never stop. They never rest. They never cease. And because of this, they never experience the blessing. They work and work and work, but the blessing eludes them. They are like a farmer who plants seeds but never allows them to grow, who keeps digging them up to check on them, who never trusts the process. The secret is this: the blessing is not in the work. The blessing is in the rest. The blessing is in the ceasing. The blessing is in the trust that what you've built will continue to produce even when you're not actively working on it. Now, this is where people get confused. They think I'm advocating for laziness, for sitting on the couch and waiting for money to appear. Nothing could be further from the truth. The 6 days of work are essential. You must plant the seeds. You must build the systems. You must create the value. You must put in the effort. But the fruit, the harvest, the wealth, that doesn't come from the work itself. It comes from the Shabbat principle. It comes from the ability to cease from your work and allow the systems you've created to work for you. It comes from the trust that the seeds you've planted will grow, even when you're not actively tending to them. Let me make this practical. There are 2 types of income in the world: active income and passive income. Active income is the income of the 6 days. It's the income you earn through your direct personal effort, your salary, your hourly wage, your consulting fee, your commission. When you stop working, the income stops. This is where most people are trapped. They are trading their time for money, and since time is finite, their income is always capped. You can't work more than 24 hours in a day. You can't clone yourself. Your earning potential is limited by the number of hours you can physically work. Passive income is the income of Shabbat. It's the income that flows to you even when you're not actively working. It's the fruit of the systems you've built. It's the rent from a property you own. It's the royalties from a book you wrote. It's the dividends from stocks you invested in. It's the revenue from a business that runs without you. It's the interest from money you've lent. It's the licensing fees from intellectual property you created. Hard work will get you active income, but it will never make you wealthy. Only passive income can make you wealthy because passive income is not tied to your time. It can grow exponentially beyond the limits of your personal effort. This is the Jewish secret to effortless money. It's not about avoiding work. It's about making your work smart. It's about focusing your 6 days of effort not on earning a paycheck, but on building assets that will generate passive income on the seventh day and every day after. Let me tell you a story about two brothers, Jacob and Esau. This is a modern parable. Jacob and Esau both inherited $50,000 from their father when they were 25 years old. Esau, who was a man of action and hard work, immediately used the money to buy the fanciest, most powerful lawnmower and landscaping equipment he could find. He started a landscaping business. He worked 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, mowing lawns, trimming hedges, planting flowers. He was known as the hardest-working landscaper in town. People admired his work ethic, and he made a good living. He was earning $80,000 a year. But he was exhausted, his back hurt, his hands were calloused. If he got sick, the income stopped. If he went on vacation, the income stopped. He was trapped in the 6 days. He was trading his time and his body for money. Jacob, on the other hand, took his $50,000 and bought a small rental property. It was a duplex in a decent neighborhood. He rented out both units. After the mortgage, taxes, and maintenance, he was clearing about $800 a month in passive income. That's only $9,600 a year, much less than Esau's $80,000. But Jacob didn't stop there. He got a regular job to cover his living expenses and every dollar of passive income from the rental property he saved. After 2 years, he had enough for a down payment on a second property, then a third, then a fourth. By the time Jacob and Esau were 40 years old, here's where they were. Esau was still mowing lawns. He was making $90,000 a year now, but his body was breaking down. He had chronic back pain. He was taking pain medication. He couldn't imagine doing this for another 25 years until retirement. But he didn't know what else to do. This was all he knew. If he stopped working, the money stopped. Jacob owned 12 rental properties. His passive income was $12,000 a month, or $144,000 a year. And he wasn't working for it. The properties were managed by a property management company. Jacob spent maybe 5 hours a month reviewing reports and making decisions. He had entered into the Shabbat principle. His assets were working for him. He was free. By the time they were 50, Esau had to stop working. His body gave out. He had some savings, but not enough to retire comfortably. He was stressed and worried about his future. Jacob owned 25 properties. His passive income was $30,000 a month. He was financially free. He spent his time traveling, spending time with his grandchildren, studying Torah, and volunteering. He had wealth, health, and time. He had the blessing. The difference? Esau worked hard. Jacob worked smart. Esau focused on active income. Jacob focused on passive income. Esau lived in the 6 days. Jacob entered into the 7th day. Now, let me address the objection I know some of you are thinking. But Rabbi, not everyone has $50,000 to buy a rental property. What if I'm starting with nothing? Fair question. And the answer is this. The principle remains the same even if the starting point is different. The principle is, use your time and effort to build assets that will generate passive income, not just to earn a paycheck. If you don't have $50,000, maybe you start by learning a high-income skill and offering it as a service. You build a client base. Then you systematize the service, hire people to deliver it, and turn it into a business that runs without you. That's an asset. Or maybe you write an ebook and sell it online. Every sale is passive income. That's an asset. Or maybe you create an online course teaching something you know. Every enrollment is passive income. That's an asset. Or maybe you invest in dividend-paying stocks, even if it's just $100 a month. Over time, that compounds into an asset. The point is not the specific vehicle. The point is the mindset. The mindset of building assets, not just earning income. The mindset of the seventh day, not just the 6 days. Let me tell you my own story. When I was 30 years old, I was working as an accountant. I was making $65,000 a year. I was working 50 hours a week. I was stressed, burned out, and I realized that if I kept going this way, I would never be wealthy. I would never be free. I was trading my life for a paycheck. So I made a decision. I was going to spend the next 5 years building assets. I started a side business doing bookkeeping for small businesses. I worked nights and weekends. It was hard, but I wasn't just earning extra money. I was building a system. I documented every process. I created templates. I hired a part-time assistant. Within 3 years, the business was generating $5,000 a month in profit, and I was only working 10 hours a week on it. It was becoming passive. Then I took that $5,000 a month and started investing in real estate. I bought my first rental property, then a second. Then I started investing in dividend stocks. Then I wrote a book on financial management for small businesses. It started generating royalties. By the time I was 40, I had multiple streams of passive income totaling $15,000 a month. I quit my accounting job. I entered into the Shabbat principle. My assets were working for me. I was free. And here's the beautiful part. Once you enter into the seventh day, once you have passive income covering your expenses, you are free to do the work you truly love. Not the work you have to do to survive, but the work you were created to do. For me, that's teaching, writing, and helping people build wealth. I do this not because I need the money, but because it's my calling. This is the blessing of Shabbat. This is the blessing of the seventh day. This is the secret to effortless money. So, here's your action plan. Step 1. Calculate your current active versus passive income. How much of your income requires you to actively work? How much flows to you whether you work or not? For most people, it's 100% active, 0% passive. That needs to change. Step 2. Set a goal. What would it take for passive income to cover your basic living expenses? For most people, that's somewhere between $3,000 and $10,000 a month. That's your freedom number. Step 3. Choose one asset to build. Don't try to do everything at once. Pick one. Real estate, a business, stocks, intellectual property. Focus on that one thing until it's generating meaningful passive income. Step 4. Commit to the 6 days. Building an asset requires effort. It requires sacrifice. It requires discipline. You will have to work hard in the beginning. But you're not working hard to earn a paycheck. You're working hard to build a system that will eventually work for you. Step 5. Enter into the seventh day. Once the asset is built, trust it. Let it work. Don't micromanage. Don't sabotage. Rest. Cease. And watch the blessing flow. This is the Jewish secret to effortless money. This is the Shabbat principle. This is the path to true wealth. In the comments below, write, "I will build assets," to make a commitment to this principle. And tell me, what's the one asset you're going to start building this year? And if this teaching has opened your eyes to a new way of thinking about work and wealth, subscribe to this channel. Next week, I'm going to reveal why praying for money the way most people do is actually keeping them poor, and what you should be praying for instead. Shalom, and until next time. Let me give you one more profound insight from the Talmud that will change how you think about work forever. There's a teaching that says, "Tafasta merubah lo tafasta. Tafasta mu'at tafasta." It means, if you grab too much, you don't grab anything. If you grab a little, you grab it. This is the principle of focus and leverage. Most people are trying to grab too much. They're working multiple jobs, hustling in every direction, saying yes to every opportunity. They think more effort equals more results, but they end up exhausted and broke. They grabbed too much, so they grabbed nothing. The wealthy understand the opposite. They focus on one or two high-leverage activities. They build one solid asset at a time. They grab a little, but they grab it completely. And that one asset becomes the foundation for the next and the next and the next. I had a student, let's call him David, who was working 3 jobs. He was a full-time teacher, a part-time Uber driver, and he was doing freelance graphic design on the weekends. He was working 80 hours a week. He was making about $75,000 a year, which sounds decent, but he was completely burned out. He had no time for his family. He had no time for his health. He was a slave to his effort. I asked him, "David, what are you building?" He looked at me confused. "What do you mean? I'm working. I'm making money." "No," I said, "you're earning money. But what are you building? What asset will you have in 5 years if you keep doing this?" He thought about it. "Nothing. I'll just be 5 years older and more tired." "Exactly," I said. "You're grabbing too much. You're trying to do everything, so you're building nothing. What if you focused all that energy on building one asset?" We worked together to create a plan. He kept his teaching job for stability, but he quit Uber and cut back on the freelance work. He used the freed-up time to build an online course teaching graphic design to teachers who wanted to create better classroom materials. It was a specific niche. It was focused. It was one thing. The first year, he made only $5,000 from the course. It seemed like a failure compared to the $20,000 he had been making from Uber and freelancing. But he stuck with it. He improved the course. He built an email list. He created a community. By year 2, the course was making $3,000 a month. By year 3, $8,000 a month. By year 4, $15,000 a month. And here's the key. He was only working 10 hours a week on it. It was becoming passive. It was an asset. It was working for him. He told me, "Rabbi, I was working 80 hours a week to make $75,000. Now I'm working 50 hours a week, 40 at my teaching job, 10 on the course, and making $120,000. And the course income is growing while the teaching salary is flat. In 2 more years, the course will make more than my teaching job, and I'll be able to quit if I want." That's the power of focus. That's the power of building assets. That's the Shabbat principle in action. Now, let me address one more objection. "But Rabbi, I don't have any skills. I don't know how to build a business or invest in real estate. I'm just a regular person." First, let me challenge that. You are not just anything. You are created in the image of God. You have infinite potential. The fact that you don't see your skills doesn't mean they don't exist. It means you haven't discovered them yet. Second, skills can be learned. I didn't know anything about real estate when I started. I didn't know anything about writing when I published my first book. I didn't know anything about online courses when I created my first one. But I learned. I read books. I took courses. I found mentors. I made mistakes and learned from them. The question is not whether you have skills. The question is whether you're willing to acquire them. Are you willing to invest in yourself? Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to fail and try again? Third, you don't need to be an expert to start. You just need to be one step ahead of the person you're helping. If you know how to change a tire, you can teach someone who doesn't. If you know how to cook a healthy meal, you can teach someone who doesn't. If you know how to use Excel, you can teach someone who doesn't. Your knowledge, no matter how basic it seems to you, is valuable to someone else. The Talmud teaches, "Who is wise? He who learns from every person." Everyone has something to teach. Everyone has value to offer. The question is whether you're willing to package it, systematize it, and turn it into an asset. Here's the final secret I want to leave you with. The Shabbat principle is not just about money. It's about life. It's about freedom. It's about living the way God intended you to live. God didn't create you to be a slave to your work. He created you to be a creator, a steward, a manager of resources. He created you to work 6 days and rest on the 7th. He created you to build systems that serve you, not to be a slave to systems that use you up. When you enter into the Shabbat principle, when you build assets that generate passive income, you're not just becoming wealthy, you're becoming free. Free to spend time with your family. Free to pursue your passions. Free to serve others. Free to live the life you were created to live. This is the blessing of the 7th day. This is the secret to effortless money. This is the path to true wealth. So I want to challenge you today. Stop glorifying hard work. Stop wearing your exhaustion as a badge of honor. Stop trading your life for a paycheck. Instead, start building assets. Start focusing on leverage. Start entering into the Shabbat principle. Your future self will thank you. Your family will thank you. And God will bless you because you're finally living according to the blueprint He designed.